Ugh, I am so overwhelmed right now. My entire house is a chaotic mess, and I really need to get started, but I just have that overwhelming feeling like I don't know where to start. And I know I need to focus first on my bedroom because 7 people have been living in there for 3 days. Okay, let me back up and give you some history, but first, a little lipstick because I know it's going to make me feel like I'm kind of together even though I haven't showered in 5 days. Okay, this is what we're working with in my room. There is trash, there's food, there's stuff everywhere because we've really truly been living in here for 3 days. And before I get started on the context, I will tell you what I'm going to start with as I'm cleaning this overwhelming space in case you also have an overwhelming space to work on. I have a little tray where I'm putting everything that goes into the kitchen. I am using the little wicker basket for all of the water bottles because we don't have running water either. I have a trash bag by the wicker basket, and then the next thing I wanted to do was pick up larger things that were in my way and that were kind of making everything seem more crazy than it is. And those were the blankets. There are a ton of them. I got those all done. I had clean clothes on the chair that I took to the closet to hang up. And once all of the obvious things were taken care of, I just had to categorize. But that doesn't mean it's easy. And I did blank out for a while and let the overwhelm come in, which is fine. I let it flow back out. Started to put all the games together. Then I put all of the winter coats and hats and gloves that we had been wearing indoors in one pile, and I had a pile for dirty clothes. And then I started getting all of my kids' things together so that they could just come into the room and pick them up. And about that time, I realized that I hadn't eaten in a while and I needed to take a little bit of a break. So I took more than 10 minutes, but I needed it. Next, I moved on to this little alcove, but just to recap, I have put all of the trash together. I have put all of the dirty laundry together. I've put the clean laundry away. I have put dishes and things that need to go to the kitchen in one spot, and I have put things that do not belong in my room into their own little categories that will make it easier to put away. Then I moved on to my side table, and while I'm cleaning that, I'll just give you some of the context for why we were all in this room together for 3 days, because we had a very big snowstorm. I'm in Portland, and a crazy snowstorm. It took out the electricity really quickly, and it was 18 degrees outside, sometimes a little bit less than that. And inside our house, it was about 34, 35 degrees for 3 days. Once it became clear that the electricity was not going to come on that same day, we just decided to make my room the home base. And no, our fireplaces were not working when the electricity was off. That would have been so cool if they had. But we brought in mattresses, a ton of blankets. We put multiple layers on everybody. We were all wearing gloves and hats and coats and 15 pairs of socks. It was just so bone-chillingly cold. After the snowstorm, we also had an ice storm. We had a pipe burst in our downstairs area and get water everywhere, so that was a whole thing. But it's been a minute since that happened, and things are slowly starting to get back to normal. And having my bedroom feel like an actual room and not a sanctuary that we're all just huddled up in was a really, really great thing. And as you could see, if we go back to the cleaning aspect of this whole thing, that having those categories put in little piles everywhere made it very easy for my kids, my minions, to put things away, and it made it easier for me to put things away. And that's what I would always suggest when you're dealing with a lot of things, is just to have piles, just as long as you know what the piles mean. I try really hard not to leave the room that I'm working on, so that's why I left those piles to the end, because if I leave to put things away, I am going to get distracted. If there are things that you just can't figure out what to do with, or you don't have the bandwidth to deal with, just stick them in a pile. This whole box is little things that I just was not prepared to deal with. And it's not perfect. I didn't make the bed. I didn't, I could have cleaned the side tables a little bit more or done the bookshelf, but the room is fully functional again, and that is awesome.